Hey guys, what's going on? It's Vic here, back with another Madden 23 rebuild. In today's episode, we're going to be rebuilding the Kansas City Chiefs. And for those of you guys saying, "Oh, the Kansas City Chiefs don't need a rebuild," it's like I'm fully aware of that. I'm just doing it just to say I did it. There's no specific reason why I need to quote unquote rebuild a team. I'm just trying to make more of a super team than what they already have, and that also includes Kadarius Toney going to the Chiefs. They traded away a conditional third-round pick and a sixth-round pick to the Giants for Kadarius Toney, and the Giants really lost this trade because they only had this player for a year, and the reason why they specifically traded him, and it was kind of confirmed as soon as they drafted Wan'Dale Robinson. Kadarius Toney had some problems during training camp, and by problems I mean he would show up to practice late or just not even at all. He would throw fits at practices. He was just not necessarily a good teammate for the other players to look up to. I would say he just wasn't a good role model is the best way to put it. But he's going to be on the Kansas City Chiefs, and Kansas City Chiefs don't necessarily care about role models, considering that they had Josh Gordon. Well, I think they still do have Josh Gordon on the team. So I mean, he only smoked weed. Who really cares? But doesn't really matter. Kadarius Toney is on the team now, and I'm actually not going to trade him away here. I'm just trading away the picks because EA never trades away the picks. It was a conditional third that could turn into a second, but since he's my third string receiver, technically I'm just going to trade away a 3 and a 6, and then I'm going to go to the Giants and then trade this away. Unfortunately, I can't just give it to them. I have to take something from them. So I'm just going to take their next year's 7. It's not really that big of a deal. So I'll just give away my 3rd and my 6th just to confirm that. So this is the overlook of the team, already stacked out. I'm not going to change any of the schemes, any of the playbooks or anything because the Chiefs are goated in simulation, but as soon as you start using them, they're just terrible. That's just how it works every single time. We got Patty Mahomes here, obviously, literally the next up. People will argue whether him or Josh Allen is better this year. Mahomes has more talent, but I think in stats-wise, eventually Josh Allen will surpass him. Mahomes has made crazy throws. Everyone raves about it, but also Matthew Stafford makes crazy throws, but nobody talks about it. But yeah, we also got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, might look to maybe get a little bit better of a back than him. Jerick McKinnon, Rojo, Boo Smith-Schuster, who we're probably not even going to re-sign because in simulation he never gets re-signed because the Chiefs spend too much money on Patrick Mahomes, which makes sense. I would rather have Mahomes than Juju. So also, of course, Kadarius Toney, Mecole Hardman, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, is it? Marquez? Yeah, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. And he's only 27. I swear that dude was like 29 or 30. Travis Kelce here. Great offensive line. Huge improvement ever since they lost to the Bucs in the Super Bowl. They realized how badly they needed it. Got Joe Thuney. Creed Humphrey was an amazing pick. And Trey Smith, I believe it is. Is it? Yeah, Trey Smith out of Tennessee. He was a good pick as well. So maybe we just need a right tackle, but either way, this offensive line is great regardless. Defensively, looking into it, George Karlaftis was a steal at the end of the first round. Everyone's like, oh, why didn't the Chiefs choose George Pickens? This is a great pick too. People don't realize how good George Karlaftis is, and he's a good player. People just don't realize it. He was a great edge rusher pick. They need an edge rusher after losing Mark Ingram. I mean, yeah, Carlos Dunlap is okay. Same with Frank Clark, who also got suspended for 2 games. I forgot the specific reason why. They also got L'Jarius Sneed, who's been decent. Rashad Fenton they got from the Raiders, I believe, for like a 6th-round pick. He's not that good, but he's a decent depth player, I guess. They got Justin Reed and then Juan Thornhill. I think they overpaid Justin Reed a little bit, but also he can kick really far field goals, apparently. So, actually, I wonder what his kicking rating is. I kind of want to see that. Because I've seen him in the offseason kick during this training camp, I've seen him kick like a 50-yard field goal kick. Did they actually, yeah, kicking accuracy 73, kicking power 92. Wow, they should have given that to Kareem Hunt. But yeah, I'm surprised they actually gave that to him. 92 kicking power. There's some kickers, the legitimate kickers in the game that can't even do that. Anyways, it's now time to move into the midseason mark. Here we are at the midseason mark, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. 2-5. It's not that anyone is bad at Madden. It's just as soon as you start using the team just becomes bad for no reason at all. Oh, you're going to fail a rebuild with the Chiefs. It's like, I'm not failing the rebuild. Madden just screws you out of so much shit. It's impossible to win the game. It's the same playbooks, same schemes. I'm just getting screwed. Orlando Brown has a high interest in coming back. We want him long term. He's our future left tackle. He says he wants the length down. What? Mecole Hardman, Juan Thornhill is a guy that I want back as well. High interest. He says offers perfect. See, Orlando, maybe you should take notes. Derek Nottie, I do want back as well. He's going to be a decent depth player at least, and he's pretty cheap, so he's back. Jarek McKinnon, no. Townsend, I can just get a new punter. Even though he has interest in coming back, I can just get a new punter for cheaper. Rojo, no. They've got a lot of good depth players here. So how much money do I have left is the question. Rashad Fenton would not be a bad signing, but he doesn't want to come back, so I'm not going to force him. Mecole Hardman, I do want back. How much money do I have? Getting tight on money. And he wants, let's just give him player-friendly deal. We'll do that. And he doesn't want to be with the team. Does Juju want to come back on a player-friendly? I mean, I don't have the money to... We'll have to deal with this in the offseason. Orlando Brown is a guy that I need back. Mecole Hardman, I would rather have over Juju. So we'll have to deal with this in the offseason. Trade offers, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. You know what? I'm going to trade away Juju. I don't think I need him. I think I can just replace him in this upcoming draft. Juju and a next year's 6 gets me the Titans pick 29 this year. Projected pick 29. So that's good. I want to get Mecole Hardman back and Orlando Brown. Everyone else can hit free agency. It's ridiculous that this team is 2-5. I hate Madden simulation. How is this offensive points per game 25th and our defensive points per game 25th? Makes no sense. Valdes-Scantling, I'm not going to trade. We're going to move into the playoffs. Here we are in the playoffs going 8-9, missing the playoffs. Thank you, Madden Simulation. Thank you, EA, each and every year for making the worst possible game. I hate Madden every year because in simulation, the Chiefs are God, but as soon as I start using them, same playbooks, same schemes, we're just terrible. So I'm going to change it to the things that I think work. I'm going to keep it at a base 3-4-3. We're going to go to the Tampa Bay offense and see how that works. Usually whenever you go into the Tampa Bay offense, your defense performs horribly. I don't know why. It just does. There's no logical reasoning to it. It's just either your defense is good and your offense is bad, or your offense is bad and your defense is good. It's one or the other. Stats and awards, Patrick Mahomes was somehow mid. Makes no sense. 21st offense in the NFL, 10th best defense. 4,500 yards, 28 touchdowns, 14 receptions, his worst season yet. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 3.5 average, horrible. Kadarius Toney, 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns, that's pretty good. Travis Kelce, worst season yet, probably. Mecole Hardman was whatever. Looking at it defensively, Willie Gay, 139 tackles for a loss, 24 for Chris Jones, sacks, 12.5 for Chris Jones, interceptions, 3 for Willie Gay. He'll probably get a development upgrade. 1 safety for Chris Jones and 1 defensive touchdown for Rashad Fenton. Willie Gay should definitely get a development upgrade. So anyways, let's move into the offseason. The Jaguars beat the Packers in the Super Bowl, and I don't know how to pronounce that name, won the Super Bowl MVP. Tom Brady wins the league MVP, and there are no awards here for the Chiefs as Kayvon Thibodeau wins the Defensive Rookie of the Year. We're going to look into the roster to see if there is any development upgrades. Offensively, Tony does not get an upgrade, unfortunately. Offense looks the exact same. Defensively, Willie Gay does get star development. No surprise. Frank Clark gets star development. He's kind of old, so it doesn't really matter to me. And Trent McDuffie, I forgot he was on the team. Didn't he also fall to like the second round of the draft? He was a steal of a pickup, by the way, for the Chiefs. So Chiefs fans better be happy about that. Completely forgot he existed on the team because he was on IR for a little bit. So we're going to see what we can do. I'm not going to ever hit free agency because the Chiefs are always limited on money. 2022 retirements, we are the AFC West. And our third string QB, Chad Henne, who beat the Browns in the playoffs, I think. Or beat some team in the playoffs, I don't know. He was pretty good, I guess, but it doesn't really matter. We're going to go to the players ready to negotiate. Orlando Brown is a player that I need back. Doesn't really have much of an interest in signing now. So, can I give him player-friendly deal? Player-friendly. Up the spread a little bit. And he wants free agency. I'm not going to let that happen. So, we're going to give player-friendly to Mecole Hardman. Up the money a little bit. And he resigns, and then we're just going to tag Orlando Brown. He needs to come back. He's our franchise left tackle, and I'm pretty sure they traded a first-round pick to the Ravens for him. But they traded a first-round pick and got some third-round picks out of him too. So we don't have any money for free agency, so let's move to the draft. In the draft, we're picking up a right tackle, Colin Fry out of Arkansas, hidden development, 85 strength. He seems like a good player. In the second round, we're picking up defensive end John Hayes. I'm going to move him over to right end above Frank Clark. He's got hidden dev, 91 strength out of Texas A&M. So this is the team after the draft. Fry is a 74 overall with morale. He seems like he's going to be our franchise right tackle as our offensive line is completed for Patrick Mahomes. I bet he's happy about it. And then Smith. Who is this guy? Chuck Smith out of Alabama. The CPU picked him up. He's a power rusher archetyped. I didn't pick that guy because I stopped drafting once I got to the 4th round. I didn't even have a 3rd round pick. John Hayes is a 74 overall with morale. I'm going to move him to right end so that way we can replace Frank Clark because he's getting pretty old. And then I immediately want to start developing him as well. So we're going to do that. If Frank Clark will actually move. How old is Frank Clark? 30? Can I cut him? Damn, he has a high cap hit. If I trade him, will someone just take his contract, please? Yeah, cool. Frank Clark and Marquez Valdes-Scantling for a 2nd round pick from the Eagles. That's cool with me. I need to free up some cap there. And we're going to get Hayes on the starting lineup here. Hayes is going to be starting. And then CPU also picked up this free safety. That's cool, I guess. I don't necessarily need him, but he's here. And then this guy picked up in the 3rd round. He's a 69 overall without the morale, so that's fine. Hayes is going to be rushing off the edge. Smith is going to be rushing off the edge as well. And then, yeah, we're going to start Justin Ross in the slot. Willie Gay is fine there. And who is this guy? Who was Karlaftis? I kind of want to be my rush left end, but it looks like it's making Smith my rush left end. So, I mean, I guess I'm fine with that. They're both pretty young. So, anyways, we're going to move in to the midseason mark once I actually sim past this, but now here we are at the midseason mark, 5-2, top of the division. That's more like it. Whenever realistically the Chiefs would be 6-1 or 7-0 at this point, but it's fine. Scouting national focus. Who we're going to choose to scout? Maybe, honestly, this team really needs nothing. Maybe DB. It would be nice to have more depth at DB. You can never have too many corners, so let's just do that. As halfback is the top position in this class. A wide receiver is at the top of the board as well. Coming off a win to the Bears, we're going to look into the players ready to negotiate, see what we got here. Chris Jones, he's a must-have back, and he has an interest in re-signing. We'll try and spread out his deal, and he resigns. Good stuff. L'Jarius Sneed, I want back for a long-term deal as well. I'll up the money a little bit for him, and he stays. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is kind of replaceable, so I'd like to focus on other players right now, like Willie Gay and Orlando Brown, who I can't negotiate till week 9. So I'm going to hold off on Clyde Edwards-Helaire contract. Well, how stupid cheap is it? It's not very cheap for how good he is. Yeah, I'll deal with this in the offseason because Orlando Brown is my top priority. And I would like to have Willie Gay back, but he doesn't really have an interest. I might try and just up the money so he stays. Why would you not have an interest with a Super Bowl winning team? Anyways, apart from that, it's now time to move into the playoffs. Here we are in the playoffs going 13-4, top of the division. That's more like it. Broncos country, let's ride. Goes 9-8, Chargers 7-10. That's not believable. Anyway, stats and awards, let's see what we got. Patrick Mahomes, a beast. Is that an MVP season for him? Yes, it is. Patrick Mahomes, MVP, no surprise. Offensive yards, 6th in the NFL, and defensive yards is 10th. Looking into it, Patrick Mahomes, 4,900 yards, 20 yards shy of 5,000, 52 touchdowns to 9 receptions, 70% completion percentage is great. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 11 touchdowns, 4.0 per carry, 1,100 yards. I would like to re-sign him, but this isn't like dire. Since he has a high interest in re-signing with the team, I could get him on a cheaper deal. Mecole Hardman, 117 receptions, 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns. That's got to be a development upgrade. Kadarius Toney, only 3 touchdowns, but 1,000 yards, pretty good. Sky Moore, I forgot he was on the team. 9 touchdowns, did pretty good. Justin Ross didn't do that well in the slot, but looking at it defensively, Nick Bolton with 124 tackles for a loss, 10 for Chris Jones, sacks, 15.5 for Chuck Smith, the rookie. The CPU knows how to draft. Karlaftis with 4, but he wasn't really in the scheme. Hayes with only 3. 5 interceptions for L'Jarius Sneed. Safeties is going to be 0. Defensive touchdowns is going to be 0. So anyways, guys, we're going to see who we're going to be playing in this divisional round and see if we can beat them to move on to the conference championship. Pittsburgh Steelers, they're 11-6 here with Kenny Pickett at quarterback, I assume. Maybe Mitch Trubisky developed in simulation. We may never know. and we win 43-29, here to face the Dolphins in simulation, that conference championship. So I'm going to hop into this game and see if we can win it. Here we are against the Miami Dolphins, and it is a 7-0 lead for us, and we're already back on offense, and it's a 14-0 lead, already back on offense, and it is going to be a 21-0 lead. Dolphins not doing too hot in the first half, and now it is a 4-possession lead, and 28-3. Let's not make the Patriots and Falcons game 31-3 now, 31-10. This game's over. I'm just gonna simulate to the end of the game. It's way too clear. 17-38, 17-45, 24-45. Good effort, Dolphins, at the end, but you made the deficit too large at the first half to come back, as Patrick Mahomes put up 5 touchdowns on y'all at home. Let's get to the Super Bowl. And Kadarius Toney is playing his first Super Bowl against the 12-5 Philadelphia Eagles. Let's see the development upgrades for the team offensively. Mecole Hardman gets superstar dev. That's no surprise. Sky Moore is only a normal dev. I thought he started with star. I swear he could have. Fry is only a star dev, but that's cool with me. Defensively, Smith? Nah. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all can say I'm cheating in the comments, but Smith, Micah Parsons had an 11.5 sacks his rookie year and got superstar X Factor. Smith, his rookie year, just got, 15.5 sacks his rookie year, and he technically wasn't even starting as a pass rusher. I'm giving him at least superstar dev. He deserves superstar dev. For those of you guys saying, oh, you're cheating. Micah Parsons had only like 11.5 sacks his rookie year. If I'm wrong about that, I'm sorry, but Micah Parsons did not have 15.5 sacks his rookie year. Smith is getting superstar development because Micah Parsons got superstar X Factor for not having nearly as many sacks. But anyways, L'Jarius Sneed with superstar dev as well. That's great. I would have liked to develop Karlaftis more, but this Smith guy seems pretty good. So we're going to keep him around, and we're going to see if we can beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. So anyways, let's see if we can beat Jalen Hurts and move into it. Here we are against the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're going to strike first on the board, but we strike right back. We're on offense again, red zone, 14-7. We take our first lead of the game, and we stretch it by 2 scores, 21-7 against the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know why we punted in our own territory. I hate it when the CPU does that. 28-14 against the Eagles. It's still anyone's game here. Red zone, and it is now 3 scores out of reach for the Eagles. And we're in the 4th quarter. The Eagles don't have a chance of coming back, and we're going to put a dagger in it there. Blowout Super Bowl against the Philadelphia Eagles as we have the ball again, 45-14. 45-21 is your final score, as it is a blowout against the Philadelphia Eagles, and Kadarius Toney wins his first ever Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs in a blowout against the Eagles. Patrick Mahomes wins the Super Bowl MVP and the league MVP. There are no other awards here for the Kansas City Chiefs. We already looked into the development upgrades, so we're just going to move into the re-sign players. I want Orlando Brown back, and I would like to have Willie Gay back. We just won the Super Bowl. Both of their interests should spike. We're on a Super Bowl winning team. There is no reason why you shouldn't want to re-sign with the team. So we're going to go with AFC West, and no one in the AFC West retires. So we're going to be moving into the players ready to negotiate here. Come on, Orlando. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has a slightly bigger interest. And why does Willie Gay not have an interest to come with the team, bro? Anyways, player-friendly deal. We're going to increase the money even more for Orlando Brown. He needs to stay. Why does free agency work out for you in the long run? If he's going to be an ass about this, I'm not going to re-sign him anymore. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you're getting the contract now. I'm going to take down the money. And okay, he doesn't want to sign either. I'm not gonna pay you that much, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You're not like a game-changing player. Willie Gay, or give you player-friendly and spread out the years more. And he wants to stay with the team. Thank you. Orlando Brown not wanting to stay and Clyde Edwards-Helaire isn't the biggest deal. I'll deal with that later. And how much money do we have? $55 million. I'll try to get them back in free agency. So I got Clyde Edwards-Helaire back, and then I also got Jedrick Wills back. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a bigger interest in signing suddenly since he hit free agency and realized he wasn't going to get a better team. So now we are going into the draft. In the draft, I'm picking up DB with a 93 speed. That's really good. Zone, 5'9", only 190 pounds. Pretty small guy, but out of Oregon, hidden development. He was a bit of an athlete, only D play rec, but B press. Surprising for a guy who's 5'9", and B zone coverage. So this is the team after the draft. I picked up this Miller guy late in the 2nd round. Doesn't seem to be too good. And then Reed, who is this guy? fullback? Oh, guess the CPU drafted a fullback because the CPU is better at drafting than me. Defensively looking into it, Harmon is a 75 overall. That's sick. And yeah, oh, CPU, this guy that the CPU drafted last year is a superstar dev. That's sick. I mean, I'm not going to use him probably. He's probably just going to rot on the bench the entire time, but sure, why not? And then specialist, what do we got here? Sky Moore is going to be the slot. Justin Ross, Hayes. I'm surprised Karloftis isn't in here. I guess he's a run stuffer and not a pass rusher. Harmon's going to be the slot DB. And yeah, it looks like the team is literally all stacked. We already won the Super Bowl. Let's move into the midseason mark. Here we are at the midseason mark, coming off a win to the Ravens as we are 6-1, top of division, no surprise. Broncos are 4-3. Broncos country, let's ride. I always gotta say it, bro. I'm never gonna let Broncos fans live that down. Braden Mann is our punter that is CPU signed. I don't care. Kyle Allen is a second string QB that we have. Creed Humphrey is a guy that needs to stay. Player friendly, spread out the deal. What? I gave you more money. You have an interest in re-signing and you still don't want to play. These guys are wild, bro. Like, I don't know what these guys want in life. He stays with the team. Nick Bolton has a brain. We just won a Super Bowl, by the way, and you're like, no. And extra money? I don't like extra money, and I don't like winning Super Bowls, but I still have an interest in re-signing with the team, but I'm still going to be petty and reject your contract. Okay. Kadarius Toney, he's a must-have back because he's literally part of this rebuild, is the reason why we're doing it, and we don't really have any other receivers other than Sky Moore and Justin Ross, maybe. He resigns. Harrison Butker, I would like back. How much? I'm not going to give him a player-friendly deal for a kicker, but I'll increase it a little bit. Really? You don't have an interest in being here? You're a kicker, and you just won a Super Bowl. I don't want to hear it. Justin Reed, you just won a Super Bowl after being on the Texans your whole career. Why is nobody convinced that they should be on this team? Trey Smith, why? Why is absolutely everyone just like, no? Finally, Trey Smith has a brain. Why is everyone just like, no, I don't want to be on a team that's successful? That's so terrible. I hate Madden. And then this right tackle, Lucas, I don't even need you. I already got your replacement. If I knew you existed with Star Dev, I wouldn't have got you a replacement. It's understandable why you want to leave. But let's move to the playoffs. Here we are in the playoffs. Well, we missed the playoffs, going 10-7, third in the division. How do we miss the playoffs going 10-7? Okay, thank you, EA, for making us go 6-1 midseason mark just to lose to the Dolphins and go 10-7 and miss out on the playoffs. Thank you. I appreciate it. Now Creed Humphrey is just a future teller, and he knows why he doesn't want to return with the team. Patrick Mahomes is 7th for MVP. Josh Allen wins it this year, 4th best offense in the league. Bet the defense was garbage. And 13th best defense, 4th best offense, 10-7 misses the playoffs. Okay. 5,300 yards, 33 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 18 touchdowns, 4.2 per carry, 1,000 yards. Better season than last season. But Cole Hardman, 116 receptions, 1,500 yards. If he had double-digit touchdowns, I would give him X Factor, but he doesn't. Kadarius Toney, 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. I think that's worth superstar development with 97 receptions. He deserves superstar development. Sky Moore with a good season as well. That deserves star development, but if the CPU gives it to him, I'm going to let him have it. But if he doesn't, he doesn't. And Justin Ross doesn't do good again. Looking at it defensively, Nick Bolton, 118 yards, tackles for a loss. Not 118 yards, 118 tackles. Tackles for a loss. 12 for Derek Noddy. No, not 12. 15 for Derek Noddy. Sacks. 16 for Chuck Smith. 14 for John Hayes. And 11 for Chris Jones. John Hayes gets 14 tackles for a loss and 14 sacks. That's worth superstar development. And Chuck Smith gets 15.5 sacks last season and then 16 this season. He deserves an X Factor. I don't want to hear it from you guys if, you're cheating. I'm not cheating. He deserves it. Defensive touchdown, 0. Safeties is also 0. Somehow we missed the playoffs at 10-7. Let's move in to the offseason. Josh Allen wins the Super Bowl MVP and the league MVP, and just, similar season to what the, actually, is that the exact same score against the Eagles we had? 42-21, then Patrick Mahomes wins the Super Bowl MVP and league MVP. They just copy and pasted our season. Okay. Anyways, so we're going to look into the team to see if there is any development upgrades. Kadarius Toney should have superstar development. They don't give it to him. I'm going to give it to him. I don't care. He had almost 100 receptions. 1,200 yards, double-digit touchdowns? He's getting superstar. For those of you guys complaining in the comments, I'm being realistic here. Madden would have given it to him, so I am. I believe Sky Moore after 1,000 yards a season, like 7, 8 or touchdowns. He should have star, but I'm not gonna give it to him. Creed Humphrey has superstar now, and who is this guy? Phil Gates. The CPU is just better at drafting than me. Do I let Phil Gates? No, not Phil Gates. Do I let Creed Humphrey walk now? I mean, he's a 94, so definitely not. Interesting. We have a galore of depth players. Harmon is an X factor. Never mind, I'm goated at drafting, not the CPU. John Hayes is getting superstar development. He had 14 tackles for a loss and 14 sacks in a season. He deserves it. For those of you guys saying, oh my god, you're cheating. Again, I'm being realistic. Chuck Smith, he had 15.5 sacks last season and has 16 this season. He's consistent. He proved it. He's better. He is better, okay? I'm giving him X Factor. For those of you guys complaining in the comments, look at the stats. Be realistic here. And the CPU drafted a superstar fullback. The Chiefs just get more stacked than they could ever be in anyone's lifespan. That's ridiculous. It's insane. Oh, okay, cool. I don't even know what to draft in this upcoming draft. Maybe another DB for depth, I guess? No, I can't, because the CPU drafted a superstar development guy out of Pittsburgh that wasn't even on the roster because he was such a low overall. The CPU is just goated at drafting. Superstar fullback, superstar second string left guard, a depth superstar DB, a depth superstar free safety, and now he was a star dev, but now a superstar X Factor, one of the top pass rushers in the league. Okay. The only guy that I drafted was good. That was Harmon, who was an X Factor starting off. That's good. Hayes ended out to be pretty good. And Fry is all right. So yeah, the CPU is just better than me. Okay then, we're going to move into the re-sign players here and see what we got for the 4th and final upcoming season. If we miss the playoffs again for no reason with this type of a team, I'm going to lose my shit. It's going to be livid, dude. Anyways, we're going to go into the players ready to negotiate. Creed Humphrey needs to come back. Braden Mann, Creed Humphrey is a must-have back, and he actually has an interest in re-signing. So we're going to go player-friendly, even up the money more, even though he has an interest in re-signing, and he re-signs. Thank you. Harrison Butker has superstar dev now, but I'm going to prioritize Justin Reed. I need to have him back. Please take that. Thank you. And Harrison Butker, you're a kicker. You shouldn't be that expensive, but I have 41 million. Never mind. Sure, I'll give you a player-friendly deal, dude. I'll spread it out. I'll even up the money. Stay with the team, please. Overpaid for a kicker, but he does have superstar dev. And I don't really want anyone here. Lucas, I don't need you. And I don't really want free agency because our team is stacked. So we're going to skip into the draft. In the first round, we're picking up another linebacker just to have depth, I guess, because we really don't need anything else for the team. And this is the overlook of the team going into the 4th and final season. Travis Kelce disappeared. I didn't look at the retirements. I didn't know he retired. Unfortunate. Really could have used him for another season, but sure, let's make the fullback the starting tight end. No, I'm kidding. Higgins, sure. Rookie out of Florida. If I knew Kelce was gone, I probably would have drafted a tight end, but whatever. Doesn't matter to me. And 2 superstar receivers anyways. Patrick Mahomes can deal with it. Springs is the middle linebacker that we picked up, and he seems to be pretty good. Already a second string linebacker. Harmon is good. And should I trade for a tight end? I think I will just trade for a tight end really quickly. Is there a really, really old tight end that I can quickly just have? Let's see what we got. Is there like a good one that's old? Mike Gesicki. He's not too old. Dallas Goedert. What do you want for Dallas Goedert? Can I just give you a 2nd round pick for him? Would that work? I feel like giving up a 1st would be a cheese, and if that's not even getting me close, then I don't think I want Dallas Goedert. Kyle Pitts, George Kittle, Evan Ingram. Let's see. Can I trade away my 2nd round pick for Evan Ingram, please? Not even close. I'm just not even going to deal with it. If it's going to be that much for a tight end, I'm not going to deal with it. Anyways, it is now time to move in to the playoffs because I don't need to re-sign anybody at the midseason mark. Here we are in the playoffs going 15-2, top of the division. We're greens in everything except rushing, but we're a passing offense, so not really a surprise. Stats and awards, Patrick Mahomes probably won league MVP. He had to have after that season. Yep, wins league MVP. Most passing yards, second most passing touchdowns, 9th passer rating, second best offense in the NFL, third best defense. 5,400 yards, 47 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 69% completion percentage. Nice. Clyde Edwards-Helaire probably having his best season yet with 11 touchdowns, 4.5 per carry, and 1,100 yards. Kadarius Toney, 113 receptions, 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns. Sky Moore, 18 touchdowns, 1,200 yards. That deserves superstar development, but EA will probably only give him a star. Mecole Hardman, not bad either. 97 receptions, 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns. Gavin Higgins, the rookie tight end, 11 touchdowns, 857 yards. Pretty good for his rookie year. Looking at it, defensively, Nick Bolton, 124 tackles for a loss, 16 for John Hayes, sacks, 13 for Chris Jones, and Chuck Smith, first year as an X Factor, only gets 10.5, but he still has double-digit sacks throughout his entire career. Interceptions, 3 for Dwight Harmon, the X Factor DB, Trent McDuffie with 3 as well. Safeties is 0. Defensive touchdowns is 1 for Chuck Smith. So we got a defensive touchdown this year, but less sacks, but that's cool. We're going to see who we're going to be playing in the divisional round. I'm going to simulate all the way to the Super Bowl basically because, we've already won the Super Bowl, so it doesn't really matter to me. Let's see if we can beat the Jets to move on to the conference championship. We should be able to, and we do, 42-20. Let's see if we can beat the Bengals to move on to the Super Bowl, or will the Bengals beat us in the conference championship? Again, they do. Bengals are off to the Super Bowl. Let's see if Joe Burrow gets his first Super Bowl win against the New Orleans Saints in the Super Bowl, as we are going to play this out now. And yeah, even though we didn't win this final season, we still made a successful rebuild because we won the Super Bowl, as Joey B loses again in the Super Bowl to Dak Prescott on the Saints. Wow. Okay. I expected us to win more than just one Super Bowl, but we still had a good run. I mean, EA screwed us in the first season, but yeah. Anyways, this team's great. Sky Moore gets star dev. Kadarius Toney should have X Factor after that season, but doesn't get it. How did Higgins go from normal to... What? He went from normal to superstar. So he got star dev for just having a good season. Then he got offensive rookie of the year and got superstar dev. I did not know you can go two development traits up in one season, unless you played it week by week and got breakout challenges. Insane. Cool. It looks like Chiefs have already found their franchise tight end. Springs is an X Factor, so I guess I am good at drafting. Only whenever it's the Chiefs, of course. But anyways, guys, apart from that, I thank you guys all for watching. Let me know down in the comments which team you'd like me to rebuild next. And Kadarius Toney had a good time with the Chiefs. I'll see you guys all in the next one.